Hello everyone. This is Vanita Baraya. Today, my presentation topic is facts to fancy evolution of education from Victorian England to the modern world. So, today I will talk about how education has changed from the rigid fact based system of Victorian England to the modern creative and holistic approach. So we will see how imagination and creativity have gradually become important in learning. These are my academic details and presentation details. This is table of contents. My research question is that how education evolved from the rigid fact-based system of Victorian England as criticized by Charles Dickens in Hard Times to a modern imagination-driven child-centered model, and what impact has this transformation had on the overall development of children. My hypothesis is that how transformation from facts to fancy has led to better educational outcomes as modern approaches nurture creativity, emotions, and critical thinking, unlike the Victorian model, which limited personal growth. So, introduction. In the Victorian era, education was extremely strict and focused only on facts and disciplines. So children were expected to memorize and obey. So Charles Dickens shows this through Mr. Great Green in Hard Times, so who believes in facts and nothing but facts. So this presentation explore the journey from rigid facts to imaginative learning. So Victorian education, a rigid framework. So Victorian schools focused on memorization and strict disciplines. So children had little freedom to express themselves or to be creative. So Mr. Grant Green is a perfect example of this approach, emphasizing facts above everything else, preparing children only for industrial work, not for life. So concept of childhood in the Victorian era. So children in Victorian times were seen as small adults. They were expected to follow rules and had no space for emotional growth or imagination. So childhood was about obedience and learning facts, not about joy or curiosity. So fact versus fancy in hard times. So here Charles Dickens contrasts facts and imaginations. Grant Green represents facts while C.C. Duke represents fancy imagination, emotion and creativity. So Dickens shows that ignoring fancy makes education mechanical and dehumanized. So transition from Victorian to modern education. Over time, education began to include creativity and emotional well-being. Child psychology influenced teaching methods, and modern schools started to focus only on individual interests and holistic development rather than just rote memorization. So comparison of Victorian versus modern education. So uh, here I will compare Victorian and modern values. Victorian school stressed obedience and uniformity, while today's education values creativity, critical thinking and personal growth. We aim to develop well-rounded individuals, not just scholars. So education today balancing facts and fancy. So modern education blends knowledge with imagination. For example, STEAM. uh, education combines science and arts. Students are encouraged to explore, create projects, and solve problem, rather than just memorize facts. So, global reforms and modern policies. Globally, education has become more inclusive and flexible. Reforms like NEP 2020 in India promote skill-based learning, creativity, and life skills alongside academics. So, education is now more about preparing students for life, not just exams. So even today, Dickens critic matters. Education should not be just about facts. It should develop empathy, imagination, and facts, and empathy, imagination, and critical thinking. So modern educators can learn from his warning about mechanical, dehumanizing teaching. So, in conclusion, education has evolved from strict fact based learning to creative and holistic development. So the best education balances knowledge with imagination. So through literature like Dickens' Hard Times, we see the dangers of ignoring imagination and empathy in learning. So modern reforms, inclusive policies, and innovative teaching methods shows that true education balance facts with fancy. So preparing individuals not just for work but for life. So, fostering curiosity, empathy, and problem solving skills essential for a rapidly changing world. So, these are my learning outcomes. These are references. If you have any question, feel free to ask.
My question is, what improvements are still needed in today's education system?
In today's education system, still they give priority to marks, test, or examination. So student study only for to get pass in examinations, to get marks, and for tests. They are not applying knowledge or understanding the concepts. So another one.
So my question to you is that what lessons can modern educators learn from the Victorian failures?
So, education should balance fact with imagination. So the Victorian failures. So the lesson is that education should not produce only workers. Uh, they sh- uh, they should create thinkers, dreamers. So the Victorian failures reminds us that without imagination, education loses their soul. So this is from my side. Thank you so much.